fresh from the encounter, let's break it down. Truth and hope, the words going round. Lessons to live, faith that inspires, building a spark, igniting the fire. With Kevin and Maya, we're keeping it real. The recap is here, let's talk, let's feel.
Happy Monday, Monday to all of our saints, to all of our members, to all of those that are tuning in for the first time. We want to welcome you to the recap. The recap, we like to just take this time to just get to see where your head's at. Right on this Monday. We want you to start your Monday, your week off right. And there's no better way than having that conversation with you. So we want you to feel welcome in the room. So I want you to do 3 things for me. Okay. First thing, I need you to like the broadcast. By you liking the broadcast, it's also indicating to somebody else like, hey, maybe I should check this, this discussion out. All right. In addition to that, we want you to share it as well, because you just can't keep all this good word, this good conversation to yourself. Right, Mai?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last thing, we want you to know that we love you and we appreciate you, but we can't know if you're in the room if you don't say something. So we need you to comment below. Let us know where you're tuning in from, how you're feeling on this Monday. The last money, not the last money. I'm not claiming that. The last Monday, excuse me, the last Monday of this January month as we get ready for February. But please let us know how you're feeling in the comments. And if it is your first time tuning in, please make sure that you put the VIP in the comments, because we want to shout you new members out.
As we always say, you guys are our third co-host. So we need y'all to be part of this conversation.
Yes.
Leave your thoughts, your comments in the comment section below, so that we can engage with you and hear all the good things that you have to say as well.
Yes. So Maya, we are in this fine. We are having too much fun, but that's what the recap is all about. It's all about fun. It's all about fellowship, and it's all about just conversation, right? To help us grow. But like I was saying, we are in the first month of this 2025 year, and January is ending this week.
Can you believe it? I feel like this was a really long month. So I'm happy that we're at the end of January and looking forward to what's coming up next. We'll be heading into, hopefully, the Super Bowl season soon. So I'm excited about that, but so ready to make it through this first part of 2025.
Ready. What I love about this 2025 first month is that if you are new to our church, if it is your first time tuning in, you may not know what we do here at Bethany every January, and we call it our Transforming Lives Month, right? So you may be saying, I hear you guys talk about it on Engage. I hear Bishop and Pastor Nick talk about it on Point. What is this Transforming Lives Month all about? So we are a church that we want to create a safe place for someone to feel like they're seen. I feel like I say this at work, that we have so many big industries and churches and stuff like that where you just feel like you're just another number, right?
Yes.
That's not what we want for you here. We want you to feel like you are in a place where you are seen, that no matter who you are, no matter what you went through, no matter what you're currently going through, that this sanctuary, whether in person or online, that you feel that connection, right? So we have to start off this 2025 year with our Transforming Lives Month, because there's so many different ways to transform someone's life. Right? We don't just want to say it. We don't just want to say, oh yeah, we're transforming lives. No, we want to actually put action to it. So this whole month, we have been doing that by having our lifestyle ministries in the hallways, just also announcing on Engage Live, just doing interviews and stuff like that. So Maya, I want to ask for you in your role here at Bethany, how important it is for you for this Transforming Lives Month, because like as a leader, you want to make sure that you're getting out all that information. You want to make sure that you are, as Bishop taught us, that we have to change our fishing styles right now, right? And we have to change how we go out and minister to people. So how important is it to you just starting off this year with Transforming Lives and just all the things that we put in place for it?
Yeah. I love Transforming Lives because it really gives us the opportunity to put our words into action. And as we're learning that we are the hands and the feet of the body of Christ, the
Yes.
community, the safe place that we have built here. So this really is our opportunity to be able to go out, like you said, to let someone know about the goodness of God in your life and how he's blessed you and how he's healed you and, you know, how he's kept you and kept your family throughout these days that can be challenging at times.
Yes.
So it's a wonderful thing to be able to connect with people in a whole new way.
Yes.
And to actually get them to be here with us. You know, even for those who, you know, don't live local to where we are, you know, we have family members that are down in Florida, across the world, and, you know, in Asia, you know, so there's a wide net that we're casting that we're so happy to be able to be a part of. But, you know, it really is a special thing because you're meeting people where they are. And if you think it back in the day when Jesus was around on earth, he didn't sit back and, you know, wait for people to come to him. He went where they were to be a part of the ministry and to be a blessing into their lives. So, you know, when we're celebrating Transforming Lives Month, this is what we're doing. We're putting that plan into action to go out and reach one, like Bishop says, each one bring one, and just allow God to move in their life. So I'm excited because we actually did something more recent called transformation cards. And, you know, I know that sometimes part of the challenge is just knowing what to say, how to connect with people, how do you let them know about Bethany. So we have these transformation cards that if you take it and have someone tap your phone, it shares all the information about Bethany. But, you know, that's just one of the ways that we try to be as helpful as possible to really make a difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, this past Sunday, we celebrated the angel of this house. We celebrated Bishop for all that he is and all that he has done. It is his 73rd birthday. We're just so thankful for all that he instills in us. And one of, you know, the things, many of the things that Bishop does that I love, but he is a true teacher, and especially for me, because I am one, I need to see an illustration. I need to see it act out. I need all of it. I need all the bells and the whistles. And this week, Bishop did that as we did our call for salvation. And, you know, doing that brilliant, that beautiful illustration of, you know, someone thinking that they cannot be cleaned up. And having Brother Blair, I know it kind of shocked some folks. It shocked me too. It was a little shocking, but it was a beautiful demonstration of what God's love is, right? And for those that did not get the chance to see, I do encourage you to go back. But basically, it showed that Brother Blair was coming to Christ, and he just thought he was so just tore up, that where he was not, which we talked about on a recap before, where he wasn't in a position where God should save him, or he didn't feel like he was enough to actually go to Christ and be in church and stuff like that. And just the embarrassment, right? I feel like a lot of us, what we learned in that illustration, that a lot of us come to church and we feel like we're so embarrassed that everyone knows our business, right? But no one knows our business, right? So we discredit ourselves from what God has in store for us. And I love that Bishop showed that, because it just showed no matter who you are, no matter what you've gone through, what you did last night, what you did this morning, what you did last week, God still wants you present in the house. He wants you to still just feel his presence, no matter where you may be, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's just in your car. But I just love that we had that illustration this Sunday, also with tying it to our Transforming Lives month, which I think was just a great illustration of what this God's love that we're talking about, what this forgiveness is all about, what this walk is all about when it comes to Christ, right?
All God wants from us is to have relationship. For us to be able to come to him as our Father and say, God, look, I messed up, or I don't feel, you know, like I'm good enough, you know, for your love, but I'm going to come to you. And, you know, what I loved about the illustration as well is that sometimes it needed to be a little drastic. Because sometimes we are in drastic situations in life. You don't ever know what someone else is going through. So to be able to demonstrate that no matter where you are in life at the moment, could be at the lowest of lows, there's a safe place for you right here, and God is waiting for you, like the father, the prodigal son, with his arms wide open, just waiting for you to come home. So, you know, it really is my hope that, you know, even outside of this month, but as we continue through this year, that we are just allowing ourselves to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And be able to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
To be able to come back home.
I love that, having that vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes people don't want to feel vulnerable because they feel like it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of like, oh no, I'm not strong. I'm not one of God's strong soldiers and angels. I'm not that. But I feel like being vulnerable actually shows that you are strong.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot for a person to just say, hey, I'm going through this and I know that I am messed up.
Yep.
I know that I messed up multiple times, and that I know God, I pray for forgiveness each and every week about the same things. But being vulnerable and going to God in that secret place and just saying that, God, these are the things that are making me feel this way. These are the things that these are the bad habits that I just cannot escape. That is the first step in that real transformation.
Yeah.
Right? That's that first step in that healing process. So I love that you said that vulnerability, because sometimes people look at vulnerability as a weakness, but I think it's actually a strong characteristic.
It definitely is. And if you think about it, what gets ahead of that is our pride.
Yes.
And, going back to Adam and Eve in that story, it was their pride that kept them from being able to take ownership. Yes. And say, look, God, I messed up. Maybe the rest of our lives would have been different if they had stood up to it. But being able to cast your pride aside and be vulnerable with him, I think in the long run can be very beneficial for us to do and to keep in mind.
Absolutely. So, Bishop had that demonstration, right? And, it just showed that no matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, come on home, right?
Yes.
But also it ties into, when you're talking about that vulnerability, you have to go to God. And we're learning that in the series that I want to know you better. I want to know you better, which is meaning like I want to understand you through my prayer life.
Yeah.
And so many of us have, I've had personal conversations with people coming from the recap about this series, about how so many of them was like, Kev, like what you said about like changing those things about your prayer life, like that's exactly like how I feel. And I love that we're having that conversation, because I feel like some people are, I'll say for myself, when it comes to prayer, and talking about your prayer life, I can be a little intimidated because in my head, this is just my perspective, having that conversation about my prayer life and just being honest, like, okay, I know I can work on this a little bit better. I don't want anyone to look at me differently. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what some people may think. That's what some people may feel when it comes
look
to
at you differently. How?
Like, how can you be who you are and still have flaws in your prayer life? You know what I'm saying? That's just something that I beat myself up about. So that's why I said, coming into this year, when we are in this series, that I want to be intentional about my prayer life. I want to be intentional about using God's words and not mine, and standing on those things, but also increasing my faith for the things that I'm praying for.
Yes.
Right. As Bishop did before we got into this new year, we been pinning prayer, the last couple of weeks been pinning prayer requests on the altar. But what he's teaching us with these prayer requests is like, okay, we have these prayer requests, but you also have to have the faith that matches it.
Yes.
So I feel like it's not, when it comes to talking about your prayer life, it's not just a singular thing. It's multiple things within it that you need to build up.
Yeah.
And that's what's being revealed to me in my life, right? Whether it's in my personal life, whether it's in my professional life, whether it's in whatever it may be, that's what this series is doing for me when it comes to me progressing in that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I love that. And I think for me, what I get from that is being able to take our prayers and make them tangible. So, I feel like at times, like when we're talking to God, like we do it just kind of, do you remember all the thoughts you have in the day?
Right.
No. So we make our prayers kind of align with our thoughts. But being able to, like you said, be able to write our prayers down, taking the vision and making it plain.
Yes.
You're getting yourself a physical evidence of your prayer, so that even when you're going throughout your days and your mind's on 110 things, you have that sheet of paper of your prayer. So it's almost like a reset, or something that you can come back to, and as evidence of, God, I know you're going to make this happen. So then when it does happen, you say, look, I got the receipts for it. It's right here. He
Come
did
on,
it.
I love a good receipt.
So, for me, it's being able to make our prayers more tangible, hard evidence for us, so that we are trusting and, like you said, having faith in God to move the way that he knows, the
Yes.
way that we know he will.
Yes, absolutely. And coming out of, like we said, talking about Transforming Lives Month and then talking about this series, I Want to Know You Better, like we're working on a prayer life and stuff like that, but we also have to put work into it, right? So when it comes to working on ourselves and stuff like that, we learn about how important it is to sow our time, our talent, and our treasure, which is why we've been mentioning about our lifestyle ministries. We've been mentioning about all the different ways that you can get connected and be connected in this house. Because when you do sow that time, that talent, and that treasure, you see God start moving in different areas of your life. I'll just say personally for myself, when I got more involved, I just saw God not just blessing me, but he was blessing those around me, which was ultimately a blessing for me, right? So we want to encourage you as well that during this time, when you hear the word, also sow into someone else's life, right? And there's so many different ways to stay connected with someone. Well, stay connected with the house and the body and the word and everything that's happening here, whether it's in person or online, right? So what are some ways that we can look forward to this week as we finish off this month and go into the next month that we can stay connected, Maya?
So, of course, we have our Embrace class tonight at 7 p.m. with Bishop, just going a little bit deeper into the things that we can learn in our walk with Christ, right? So being able to have that one-on-one conversation with Bishop and be able to ask him questions, that's all happening tonight at 7 p.m. Then on Tuesday, we have our first Safe House men's session of the year for all the men out there. It's called Real Men, Real Talk. So this is your opportunity to gather up with your brothers in Christ and just talk about the different things that you guys might be going through as you just go throughout your days. You know, life be lifing sometimes.
Life be lifing.
Just sometimes.
Just sometimes.
It's a great way to be able to connect with someone else and just be of support to each other. Then, of course, we have Bible study on Wednesday at 12 p.m. And in the evening at 7 p.m., we are in the series called Designer Originals and how we are the originals and how we are called to be prosperous, right? So that's on Wednesday. And then, of course, on Saturday, we have 1 point at 9 a.m. Then we're back on Sunday for a full day of worship. But before we go, I just wanted to say something else about today's conversation. When we are in these moments where we're leaning extra on God and we're doing all the things that we can to show our love to him and to our community, being of service and like all of what you said, don't be surprised for the attack. Because I feel like the enemy will see all the good that you are doing and try to use it as an opportunity to get you off track.
That's good, Maya.
To help you lose your focus.
That's
you know,
so
because he sees the greater that is at the end of this journey that you're on. So, you know, all that to say, be prepared for the attack. It's, you know, it might happen, but you know, we have the full armor of God. We have our word to come back to. And like we're learning in the sermon series, we have our prayer to keep us girded up and in strong relationship with the Lord. So
don't let those distractions come creeping up in your spirit.
Not today.
And changing your mindset and all that. Not today,
Not
Satan.
today.
Not today. But as always, it is a pleasure and is an honor just to take this time to just fellowship with you online. I want to shout out everyone that's tuning in, everyone that commented, everyone that liked, everyone that shared. Please make sure that you come back next Monday, 5:30 for a recap so we can continue the discussion. We always encourage you to have your own recap. And when you have your own recap, let us know when you see us in the hallways and stuff like that, because I love to hear that. I love to hear that you are continuing the conversation past these walls, because as we said this Sunday, that it's not the building that makes Bethany, it is the people. Us fellowshipping and having those real conversations and being a blessing to others is what Bethany is all about, which in result creates that safe place, right? So until next time, Bethany family, it is our prayer that you felt encouraged by today's discussion. We look forward to seeing you in person or online, but especially here on the recap and in service. Until next time.
Bye.